I love you. Gentlefolk, ladies and men, so happy to have you here again. Thank you for coming back to the couch with us. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. This is a podcast about movies and TV called Green and Faceless on the Couch. Welcome back.
Indeed.
What are we talking about?
Nick
honestly have forgotten it.
Cage.
Oh, yes. Yes. How could I? How could I forget about Nick?
How could you? The one true God. Specifically, we're talking about one of my favorite Nick Cage movies.
I do. This is
in regards to my childhood, specifically.
They got a lot of nostalgia, for sure.
Again, just to reiterate, it wasn't my childhood. It was actually my teenagehood, I guess. But it was such a wonderful thing when it came out, mainly because I knew it was mostly bullshit. But boy, did I enjoy that bullshit. This is
history. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This is as real as the lizard people. Come on, Greenie.
Oh my god. Let's quickly dive into it, shall we?
Yes.
Directed by John Turteltaub. John Turteltaub. Not Jerry Bruckheimer. Yeah, not Jerry Bruckheimer. I thought for all of my life until I rewatched this movie that it was directed by Jerry Bruckheimer. He just produced it.
Oh,
but it has that Jerry Bruckheimer feel. It really does feel like a discount Pirates of the Caribbean film. You know, it's got that kind of like an epic-y action like feel, even though there's not much action in this, but
all the things they do.
Yeah. And the mysteries, like the mystery that's being unraveled, which I'll get into here, it is how it's done, how it's unraveled is given like the epic treatment. It feels so. Each answer that they come to is such like an amazing grasp of knowledge, and it's presented with just like an fuck, whoa kind of feel to it. Yeah, it's just it all around just.
I think Benjamin Franklin Gates could have been played by also Keanu Reeves.
Oh, almost, yeah, actually.
I'm just saying, like, it could have worked with Keanu Reeves. I don't know that they, if he was ever considered, but Nicolas Cage plays Benjamin Franklin Gates, and
Indeed. Yes, he does.
In a family of treasure hunters. Yeah.
Specifically American history treasure. Well, not American history, but American treasure hunters of the Revolution era and on.
Yeah, this treasure goes way back farther than that they've been after, and they've been associated with one treasure.
Yeah, but his family wasn't involved until the Revolution.
This is true.
Well, actually, after the...
It was during Andrew Jackson's presidency, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm just... God. Why do you... No, you're right, though. It was Jackson. He did... it was the individual who gave them the secret, who let them in on the big mystery, was going to die, and he knew he was going to die. So he was in his horsing carriage or whatever with his servant, who was the ancestor Gates.
Yeah.
But he's not able to see the president. The president's not in. He's not able to get the information he needed to get to the president. So instead, he entrusts it into his friend, his servant, I guess, his manservant.
Thomas Gates.
Thomas Gates. Ooh. Yeah, and the mystery he lets him in on is just the simple words, the secret lies with Charlotte. That's it.
Yes, that's it.
He gives him a little phrase.
And then the TARDIS came in.
And we jump forward 2 centuries. Actually, under 2 centuries.
So sorry.
You're okay. I was just expecting you to do it again.
Okay, so yeah, John Adams Gates is the one who told this story to his grandson, Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Yeah, do you see a recurring pattern in their family name?
Yeah. But Patrick Gates, played by John Voight, he's like, oh, This is a silly treasure.
Patrick Henry Gates, too.
Thank you, Patrick Henry Gates.
You gotta give his historical name.
Silly treasure silly. Ruining my life. Oh, wah.
Yeah, he is the outcast of the family, and the way that he is actually successful. Like the Gates family, each I guess Gates son has well, I guess they don't specify that it's only the males that go on the treasure hunt. True. So each member of the Gates family from who was the first one? Thomas
Gates.
That's right. Yeah, yep. Each member of the family from Thomas Gates on down to Benjamin Franklin Gates, excluding only Patrick Henry Gates, the played by John Voight. All of them have basically ruined their lives, or like, and by ruined, I don't like. I suspect they enjoyed the hunt for the most part, but they weren't successful. They didn't have anything other than the fact that they were just known as these ludicrous treasure hunters. Right.
Yeah, they're kind of laughing stocks of the archaeological society, or that they're not allowed in.
Yeah, and John Voight is the laughing stock of the family in that he is successful. He has a house, he has a job, and he hasn't spent his whole life treasure hunting.
And he drives a caddy.
Yes. And he has a rift with his son. Like there's a huge rift between him and Nick Cage, because Nick is Ben Franklin Gates, played by Nick, is constantly searching for the treasure. He is like probably the smartest member of the family in the history of the family. And he, at the very beginning of the movie, has discovered that the Secret Lives of Charlotte wasn't about a person. It was about a ship. And he found the ship. And he goes to explore the ship and find the treasure. Yeah. But I mean, he knows it's not a treasure. It's going to be another clue. But, and that's another weird thing.
Yeah, I'm not so sure he knows that. Because this is the only clue he's really gotten.
Exactly. But that's where I'm really confused. That's where I'm really confused, because John Voight's like, yes, and when you're searching for the treasure, it just leads from one clue to the next. It's always just another clue. There is no treasure. And I'm just like, this is the only clue they've had for 2 years, like 2 centuries almost.
Well,
like,
okay,
what are you
so
talking
maybe
about?
like in their research of Charlotte, like they get these little clues and stuff for something. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I assume too. But when presented with the fact that everybody was researching the wrong thing, that kind of undermines everything that John Voight is saying. He's saying it's always going to be another clue. It's always going to lead to another clue. Well, your ancestors were researching the wrong thing, dumbass. So yes, all of that just kept leading to another clue because you were looking at the wrong thing. Your son has clearly found the right answer. Yes. And you don't know if that's going to lead to another clue. It could always lead to the end of the hunt.
He blows it up.
Well, he doesn't intend to.
Yes.
It's just he gets there. He gets there with his crew, which consists of Sean Bean playing Ian Howe, Justin Bartha playing Riley Poole, and some other people. Yeah, there's some other ones. Sorry, guys.
One of them's name is Shaw. I thought it was Sean, and it kept on confusing me because Sean Bean kept on saying Shaw. But
it's true. I forgot about that. I always thought that was Mark Strong, but it's not.
It's David Dayan Fisher, and the rest of them die too quickly, really, to be.
Yeah. But that's the problem, is when they get there, when they find the next clue, Sean turns on Ben Gates and just fuck it. I'm going with the actors' names. It makes more sense to me. Sean Bean turns on Nick Cage, and he's like, and the only individual who was not in with Sean Bean was Justin Bartha. And so Justin and Nick are at the opposite end, or at the wrong end of a bunch of guns, and surrounded by the gunpowder that was on the ship. And so Nick Cage, he thinks that the only way out is to blow up the ship. So he's just like, here's the flare. I'm going to throw the flare down. Some shit ensues. And they barely get out with their fucking lives.
They do barely get out alive. And Sean Bean is like, oh, that must have killed him. Let's go follow the clue that we got in there. And what I like about this movie is that the first clue that they find also is so important to the end of the movie. But, you know,
Right.
it's also just like, this movie is coincidence, the movie also at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like
there's
it.
There's not a lot of there's not a lot of red herrings. It's just kind of like the path that the writer created works only for the way that the writer created it. You're right.
Yes.
It is very much coincidence for the movie. and at the same time, it makes for very hilarious like action fun. Like it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid, but it is fun. And my favorite thing too. So when they're at the ship, when they're at the very beginning of the movie, what causes the rift between Nick Cage and Sean Bean is Sean Bean. The clue that they find implies that there is that the map to find the treasure is hidden on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
And then Nick is upset. Nick's like, well, that's it. That's the end of the hunt. There's no way we can get to the Declaration of Independence. And Sean Bean's like, we could steal it.
We can steal it, buddy.
He's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to help you steal the Declaration of Independence. And then Sean Bean's like, all right, then. You're no longer useful to me. I'm going to kill you. And that's when the whole riff happens. But when they get back to the mainland and back to America, Nick's like, well, Sean's going to steal the Declaration of Independence. The only way I can stop him from doing that is to steal it myself. So it's like,
yeah,
if you're just going to steal the Declaration of Independence, why don't you just work with Sean Bean to begin with? Like, just
because that's not how it happened. That's not how it happened. To be fair, he went to the incompetent FBI, and then he went to some other people, and then he talked to the only woman in the film, Abigail Chase, played by Diane Kruger, who I really like. Abigail, but she is definitely the very stereotypical leading lady. But at the very least, she's smart, and she actually gives input that helps the team figure out what's the fuck's going on.
I mean, honestly, except for like the few big mysteries that Nick Cage has to be the one to solve, where everybody's just stumped and he has to go off and sit quietly and think about it. She equals Nick in intelligence. Like they come to the answer of many things at the exact same time. And it's only the big ones that really matter that Nick has to solve. But yeah, she equals his intelligence, and that's like the only good thing I can credit the writers for in her character.
Yeah. Other than that, she doesn't have all that much agency, given that. So she spots. So yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but she gets involved via being kidnapped by Sean and then rescued by Ben. But like, she knows that Ben was trying to also steal the Declaration of Independence. So, and she works for the department that protects it.
Yeah. And it just becomes a wild goose chase after all of this, with Nick, Diane, and Justin being chased by Sean and simultaneously by the feds, the FBI, and whoever. All of them just trying to stop Nick Cage after he steals the Declaration of Independence, and also to beat him to the treasure in Sean Bean's regard. But yeah, I don't want to give it all away, because I do think it is a enjoyable romp to be had. So yeah, I do recommend it. So we will keep, I think, the rest of the story behind spoiler free.
Sure.
I do want to mention the writing team is this is really strange. We talked about this last week, but it's Jim Koof, and then the couple team of Cormac Wibberley and Marianne Wibberley. Like, I don't know how we've randomly had two films within like a month's time that were by a couple writing pair. That's really weird.
That is very strange.
That couple is also, they co-wrote the films Charlie's Angels Full Throttle and Bad Boys 2.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck.
They got the silly blockbusters down pat.
I also wanted to give a mention to Harvey Keitel, who plays the head honcho in the FBI who gets involved after the Declaration of Independence gets stolen. The character's name is Sadusky. I really enjoy him as this character / just in general. I think he's very interesting actor, and he kind of gets typecast a lot, at least in this time period. I feel like he's gotten to break out a little bit, but I feel like he's a little underrated. I feel like he should get more credit, and I like him in this role. So there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, he is a lot of fun, and his twist, I will say, is great.
Yeah.
It's a very hilarious, like, duh kind of moment. I feel like they were trying to go for like the usual suspects kind of moment, like that kind of grab, but it's just it doesn't grab the same. But it's still funny. Like, it's like, okay, I gotcha. But I don't know what else to talk about with this film.
Without giving stuff away, definitely.
I will say there's a hilarious bit at the end of the third act where they kind of just stopped caring in regards to like characters and their awareness, because there's so many moments where characters will say something in private about, so Nick and John Voight, a specific example, Nick and John Voight talk about the status quo and how they can't upend the status quo at the end because they're kind of hostages. It's like, we just have to do what they want us to do because they have the upper hand. And then later, while they're standing with Sean Bean's ordering Nick around, and Nick's kind of like at a moment where he's like, is this where I take the moment? Is this where I fight back? And his dad, who's standing right next to Sean Bean's like, remember, son, the status quo. And I'm like, well, now you're just putting Sean Bean on edge because now he knows you guys have a plan or something. Like, why would you say that right next to the fucking villain? Yeah, so like, and that happens many times where characters just talk about other characters as if they weren't present, but they're standing right the fuck there. like Sean Bean leaves him in a hole, and he's like going back up an elevator. And then they're talking very loudly. Yeah. You see him on a wild goose chase? And I'm like, it echoes.
Yeah, right? You're in an area a giant shaft. They gave him like not even 30 seconds to get away. Yeah, I know that is just film logic there. Like that one I can give them a little bit because like you don't want them to wait 15 minutes. But they could have done like maybe a different scene, like cut to the FBI or something and then cut back. Yeah. And then that would have made a little bit more sense.
Or like jump cut to where like the torch is like kind of a little dimmer, like they've been there for an hour or so. I don't know. Something. It's just absolutely silly. But honestly, I think that's really all I had for National Treasure. You ready for closing statements?
Yeah, sure. It's a short one, but that's okay. A little taste for you guys. But I'll go ahead if that's all right. Yeah, it's a family favorite, I would say. I remember watching this with the family and being like, oh, this was fun. Like, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but I could watch it again and again because it's a fun ride. Yeah. And
it's a popcorn film.
Yeah, it's a popcorn film. And I think that I give it a face. I'm not going to give it more than that. We'll see how we feel about the second one. I haven't watched that one as many times. So that's a little preview of next week.
The only thing I remember about the second one, just to give a little bit of spoiler hints for it, is I remember the mom's involved, and I remember Mount Rushmore's in it. That's about it.
The president's in it, too. Remember that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's very weird. It's like Sherlock, man. We just need the trilogy to be fulfilled. They need to make a third National Treasure film. Throwing it out there now.
They're probably working on it. I mean, he's kind of having a little reawakening right now, so.
Oh, dude. If you want to have a fun experiment, just Google National Treasure. Don't click this movie in particular. Just Google National Treasure.
Uh-huh.
And it comes up with a picture for National Treasure 3. I don't understand it, but it's hilarious. It's like this guy who looks like he's a little beaten up, maybe. I don't know. It might just be creases, like wrinkles. I have a very small image here. But he has this weird ass grin on. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I'm just gonna do 3 because it didn't pop up for me. Oh my god, yeah. Who's he?
I'm just like, what is going on?
Or what if that's one of the writers? And we're making fun of one of the writers.
I have no idea. But it looks hilarious. They do need to make it because I think it'll be hilarious. I mean, again, it's a popcorn film. I give it 2.5 stars. I recommend it because it's a silly, stupid, like the plot is absolutely ludicrous. The whole premise of it is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Like the idea that they hid a whole treasure, but they buried the crap out of the components of where they hid it. Mm-hmm. So that they can never use it except for if one person found it. Like it's ludicrous. Yeah. It's a dumb story. As you said, it's coincidence the movie. But it's still fun. And Riley is a funny comedic companion character. He has some good moments. Yeah, we didn't really
talk about Justin Bartha, did we?
Yeah, sorry, Justin Bartha.
I think you're the direction they go for it in the second movie I remember enjoying. So yeah, we'll get there. We'll talk about you more, we promise.
But yeah, I think that is the show.
I guess so. Is there more goofs to be had?
Yeah, if you like the Da Vinci Code and you like Pirates films, the Pirates of the Caribbean films, not the pornos.
If you liked Tomb Raider and you didn't like it for the male gazy reason, then come on by a National Treasure.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Da Vinci Code, Tomb Raider, those kind of films, then this one's right up your alley.
Definitely.
And until the next Nick Cage movie, well, actually until this Thursday, but whatever. Maybe you're just listening to the Nick Cage playlist and you're not doing this day to day. But whenever you hear us next, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leone, and I'm sorry, Greenie. I didn't mean to pick on you so much. It just happened.
Actually,
safe travels, and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of Fiction Works 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.